All right, hi. This is Mr. Yoon, and I wanted to talk to you about an American Cinquain. We didn't really have a chance to talk about it. There are five poems. Um, there are several different types of poems. The Cinquain was actually was developed a long time ago. However, inspired by something called the Japanese haiku, which is what you worked on yesterday. The American Cinquain follows kind of like the same pattern. Okay. Uh, and so it has this it's more based on beat and rhythm versus rhyme. So limericks are kind of like a type of cinquain, but I'm not gonna go into too much logistics. We're gonna just talk about something called the American cinquain, which is we're just gonna be looking at beats. Okay. So whoops. It's a syllable based poem. There are two beats. Next we have four. So oops, I didn't do that right. Then we have six, and then finally we have eight beats, and then we have two. Do you see where I made the mistake? Next we have four. Actually, no, that does, it looks weird, but yeah, that is two beats, four beats, six beats, eight beats, and then two beats. Two beats. Next we have four. Right, that's four times. Thirdly, that's two syllables. We count two more, two, six. There's a total of six there. Finally, three beats. We have eight, three more, whole beats. That gives you a total of eight there. Then two, right? So there's two beats there, two syllables. Okay. So surprise you. There's another way you can do it. There's this one is just it's just a suggestion. You can have one where you surprise your reader, right? So you start off with one topic and then you change it to something else. Lion, a predator, bold, ferocious, also feared. The leaders meet their docile friends. Noticing now that I'm circling back to some, I'm trying to change my subject, but you got to let your reader follow along, right? You want it to make sense that you go from lion to sheep. So how are they two connected? Are they going to meet? Right? You're going to need to connect those two subtopics, right? And finally, the sheep. So you're going to begin with a subject, and then you're going to end with the opposite subject, right? So I'm gonna do a quick tangent while we've been doing this. This quarantine is really tough. It's hard for a lot of us. Me and I remember there were times when I was really sad and I was inspired by this artwork. This artwork was created by Van Gogh. And the history behind this, well, before I tell you the history, I want you to take a look at this picture and I want you to just think about what you feel or what you can imagine. What emotions does this evoke out of you, right? How do you feel when you see this? So this was created by Van Gogh. He was going through a really hard time, a little similar to what we're going through. His was more of a isolation that he chose to do on his own. But outside his window, he saw these beautiful irises, and it inspired him to keep moving forward and to keep trying. And I thought that's such a wonderful description of our class. We've been through a lot of things. There's been so many changes in our class, and the best thing that we can all do is to keep trying and to not give up. And that it's difficult. And the most important thing is to think of why you're doing the things you're doing. And I want to relate this piece of artwork to language arts because I think the two, like I think art, and I think the whole arts in our school is a big part of why we do things. And it doesn't necessarily have to be pictures that you draw. It doesn't have to be the music that you play. It's just to show your appreciation for these things, right? Because they invoke a lot of creativity and imagination. So with that being said, I want you to think of something that brings you joy and or peace during this time. What is what is what's helping you move along? What's inspiring you? Is it your parents? Is it a sibling? Is it thinking about next year? Is it maybe playing video games with your friends? What is it that brings you joy or peace at this time, right? So I want you to use this poetry and let it come naturally out as you type it, right? Because the whole the creating the poem part is more difficult when you make it personal, but it's also a lot easier because those feelings come naturally. So I want to give you an example. Here's something that might be important to me, right? Something that's very important to me is the class and the school. It's why I spend so much time creating these YouTube videos and constantly checking up on all the parents and the kids. It's because all of you are really important to me. So that might be where I might start my poem. And then I might want to think, well, why is it important to me? And for me, it's important because I think connections are very essential to my well-being. So I'm going to use these ideas, and then I'm going to create my own poem based on that. That could be a memory of something that happened in school. It could be an idea. So here I have a memory here, and I think you might recall, school starts, 2 beats, bell rings, pens out, that's 4 beats, chatting, having breakfast, 6 beats, we enjoy the movie Wonder, 8 beats, school ends. Right? If you don't know, that was our last day of class. So what's important to me, or what's personal, you can also pick something that's a little bit more superfluous, right? If you don't want to get too emotional, you can think of some things that keep you going day to day. What's something that gets you excited day to day? So when we do our chats, I overhear people talking about some of the games that they're playing. So if it's a video game, maybe that brings you joy, or that brings you a little bit of solace, or that helps you cope with what's going on, and that's fine, right? But talk about why is it important to you. Right? For me, I like it because it brings me a little bit of nostalgia. Nostalgia is just a fancy word of saying it reminds me of things I did when I was younger. Right? So my poem, this one's a little less serious. A game remade again. Nice story and action. Sid is my favorite character. Playing, and I wonder if you can guess what game that is. So anyways, you're going to create your own Cinquain. It's going to be 5 lines, and I'm going to give you an extra day because I wanted to have this up before today, but I've just been busy with other stuff. So I'm going to have this up, and I'm going to give you an extra day to work on this and your free verse, okay? And I look forward to seeing your poetry this week.